keeping all this in view, this commission started preparing for elections for quite some time. We started with organizing a series of meetings with chief electoral officers of all the states and UTs in order to review various aspects of election preparedness. Video conferences with the chief secretaries, DGs, home secretaries, chief electoral officers and police nodal officers from MHA and as well as from the states were held on 21st, 22nd and 28th January to assess the overall law and order situation, state or UT specific areas of concern and deliberate on the quantum of central armed police forces required. Several rounds of discussions were held with the Ministry of Home Affairs at the level of our officers, and we also had an in-depth discussion with the Union Home Secretary and his team. The Commission also held deliberations with several key departments, especially railways, in order to ensure smooth movement and facilitation during the conduct of elections. To get a first-hand knowledge of the status of poll preparedness in the states, we visited several states and UTs to review the poll preparedness. During these visits, there is a standard SOP which is followed by the Commission, and not just us, but before us also. This has been a tradition that first of all we start with interaction with the political parties. After that, we have the presentations by the CEO of the state, the police nodal officer of that state and the central nodal officer from whichever CPF is designated for that state or UT. After that, we have a fairly in-depth interaction lasting maybe sometimes 10 to 12 hours, if not more, with the collectors, SPs, IGs, commissioners of police, whenever there is commissioner system, and all their colleagues. This is followed by a meeting with the central government regulatory departments, income tax, state excise, central excise, in order to talk about the expenditure monitoring. Then there is a meeting with the Chief Secretary, Home Secretary, and their colleagues, DGP and their colleagues. After doing all this, we report back to the media in a press conference in the state. And same process was followed this time also. While finalizing poll dates, examination schedules of various state boards, CBSE, other relevant factors like various festivals, including festivals which have religious kind of bindings, for example, when people are fasting, etc. Harvest season in certain parts of the country, as well as the inputs obtained from the weather department, are also adequately factored in. In fact, behind the scenes, I would like to tell you that our colleagues, the senior deputy commissioner and all his colleagues, they have been slogging for maybe months together to work out all these things. They do every time. They have done this time also. The Commission firmly believes that the purity of electoral roll is the foundation of credible elections. We have been constantly monitoring the health of the rolls in the country, and after the introduction of Aeronet, now we have a pan-India monitoring systems here in Delhi. The electoral rolls have been revised with reference to 1/1/2019 as qualifying date. Process of continuous updation shall continue till the last date of filing nominations. Total electorate in the final published roll would be in the vicinity of 900 million, compared to 814.5 in 2014. This marks an increase of 84.3 million voters since 2014. There are 15 million voters in the age group of 18 to 19. 38,325 third gender others. 71,735 overseas electors. Service electors more than 1.6 million. 99.36 electors have EPIC cards. 23 states and UTs have 100% EPIC coverage. The Commission continues to try the maximum coverage of EPIC still. In this direction, some major initiatives were taken. VVIP Voter Verification and Information Program launched to aid voters in checking their names in the rolls. Toll-free 1950 for checking names through SMS. Special camps organized for enrollment of eligible voters who are left out. No suo motu deletion of names after final publication of electoral roll is permitted. No deletion modification after 10 days of announcement of elections without prior approval of the Commission. Official voter slips, including those in Braille for voters, for persons with disability voters. This is distributed or shall be distributed at least 5 days before the poll to all enrolled voters. This process is rigorously monitored and schedule of distribution shared with the public representatives. In fact, at every stage, all these things are shared with the public representatives. However, we would like to make it clear that photo voter slip issued at the last minute shall be used for guidance, but not as a proof of identity in the polling stations. We have already given a very detailed ad 2-3 days back that that slip will not be a proof of identity, but there are 11 other options which can be used to cast your vote, provided, of course, the name is on the electoral roll. A voter's guide in vernacular English is being handed over in these elections to every household, giving all relevant information. On the ballot unit, below the name of the last candidate, there will be a button for nota option for the voters who do not wish to vote for any of the candidates. And as an additional measure to eliminate confusion in the minds of our voters, where you press the button in front of that, there is a photograph of the candidate also, so that you make a more conscious choice, seeing the photograph of the candidate for whom you want to vote. Voter assistant booths will be set up at every polling station to extend facilitation to the voters. There are approximately 10 lakh polling stations this year as compared to 9.